Some memories never fade. They have fur, bright eyes, and the gift of loving us without saying a word. Because every dog carries a story, and maybe a part of yours. Get ready to discover more than a breed. Discover a lifelong companion.
There's an absolutely fascinating phenomenon happening on the internet right now, and you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Every month, 1.5 million people around the world type the same name into their online searches, Cane Corso. To put this in perspective, that's more than the monthly searches for Golden Retriever, German Shepherd, or Labrador combined in some months. It's an astronomical number that puts the Cane Corso at the absolute top of the most searched breeds on the internet. But here's the disturbing detail that nobody's talking about. These same people who are desperately searching for information about Cane Corso aren't buying these dogs. In fact, the Cane Corso doesn't even appear in the top 10 most popular registered breeds. It's down there in 16th position, while breeds with far fewer online searches dominate sales and registrations. So what's happening here? Why are millions of people obsessed with a dog breed that practically nobody owns? I spent the last 6 months diving deep into this mystery, talking with breeders, veterinarians, regretful owners, insurance companies, and even authorities. And what I discovered goes far beyond simple curiosity about dogs. If you're watching this video right now, you probably searched about Cane Corso recently yourself, or maybe you're one of those 5 million people monthly who are trying to understand what makes this breed so special and at the same time so inaccessible. I'm going to reveal everything to you in the next few minutes, but before we continue, do something for me. Subscribe to this channel now and turn on notification bells, because what you're about to discover could literally save tens of thousands of dollars and years of regret. This isn't just another video about cute dogs. This is a deep investigation into one of the biggest discrepancies between desire and reality in the canine world. And you'll want to follow all this content I'm bringing about truths that the pet industry doesn't want you to know. Let's start at the beginning. The Cane Corso is an ancient Italian breed, a direct descendant of Roman Molossian dogs that were used in war, hunting, and property protection over 2,000 years ago. The name Cane Corso comes from the Latin cohors, meaning guard or protector. These dogs were literally bred to be protection machines with impressive physical strength, sharp intelligence, and unwavering loyalty to their families. When you look at an adult Cane Corso for the first time, you immediately understand why it dominates online searches. It's an absolutely imposing sight, a muscular dog that can weigh between 99 and 110 pounds, with a large square head, penetrating eyes, and a presence that literally commands respect. The coat is short and can come in various colors, including black, gray, fawn, and brindle, with a characteristic black mask on the face. It's impossible to look at a Cane Corso and not feel instantly impressed. They appear to be the personification of strength, elegance, and canine power, all packaged in a bundle that screams protection and loyalty. And it's exactly this appearance that fuels the 1.5 million monthly searches. People see photos and videos of Cane Corsos on social media and become absolutely hypnotized. You see this majestic dog standing next to its owner with that confident posture and that alert gaze, and immediately your mind starts creating narratives. You imagine yourself walking down the street with this powerful dog by your side. You imagine yourself having the best living security system possible. You imagine yourself being that person who has one of the most impressive dogs anyone has ever seen. It's the appeal of fantasy, and the Cane Corso feeds that fantasy better than almost any other breed. When you search Cane Corso online, you're bombarded with images and videos of perfectly trained dogs in luxurious homes, doing impressive tricks, protecting their families while simultaneously being gentle with children. It seems to be the perfect dog, the ideal balance between fierce protection and loving family companion. But then comes reality, and this is where everything starts to fall apart. The first thing that happens when someone seriously decides they want a Cane Corso is they start looking for breeders. And it's at this moment that the first wave of financial shock hits. A Cane Corso puppy from a respectable and ethical breeder costs on average between $1,500 and $4,000 in Brazil, potentially reaching $8,000 for champion or imported bloodlines. In the United States and Europe, prices range between $1,500 and $4,000, but can easily exceed $8,000 for puppies from working or show lines. This already eliminates a large percentage of those 1.5 million people who are searching every month. But wait, because the puppy price is just the beginning of this financial journey. What most people don't realize until it's too late is that the acquisition cost is probably the smallest expense you'll have with a Cane Corso. Let's talk about feeding, because this isn't a Chihuahua that eats a cup of kibble per day. An adult Cane Corso consumes between 3.3 and 5.5 pounds of high-quality food per day, depending on their activity level and metabolism. And no, you can't feed a Cane Corso cheap supermarket kibble if you want to keep them healthy. These dogs need premium nutrition to sustain their muscle mass, their energy, and their overall health. We're talking about at least $200 to $400 per month just on food. That's $2,400 to $4,800 per year every year for the next 10 to 12 years of the dog's life. Do the math. Just on feeding, you're looking at an investment of $24,000 to $57,600 over the dog's lifetime. And that's assuming nothing goes wrong, that the dog doesn't develop food allergies or sensitivities that require even more expensive and specialized diets. Now let's add veterinary care to the equation. Cane Corsos are prone to several genetic health conditions that you absolutely need to monitor and treat. Hip and elbow dysplasia are extremely common in this breed, and treatment can range from ongoing physical therapy and supplements, which cost thousands of dollars per year, to corrective surgeries that can easily cost between $3,000 and $8,000 per procedure. Heart problems, particularly dilated cardiomyopathy, also affect the breed with alarming frequency. Regular monitoring with echocardiograms and electrocardiograms can cost thousands of dollars annually. And if the dog develops the condition, you're looking at lifelong medication and specialized care. Gastric torsion, a medical emergency that can kill a dog in a few hours, if not treated immediately, is another real concern with deep-chested dogs like the Cane Corso. Emergency surgery to correct this can cost between $2,000 and $5,000, and even afterward, you'll need extensive post-operative care. Skin problems, allergies, ear infections, eye problems including entropion and ectropion are all conditions that appear regularly in Cane Corsos. Each veterinary visit, each treatment, each medication adds up quickly. And we're not even talking about random emergencies that can happen with any dog. Foreign objects ingested, broken bones, accidental poisoning, serious infections. An experienced breeder told me something that stuck in my mind. If you don't have at least $10,000 saved for veterinary emergencies, you're not financially prepared to have a Cane Corso. This isn't exaggeration, it's the brutal reality of owning a large breed with genetic predispositions for expensive health problems. But money is only part of the story. Let's talk about something that eliminates even more people from this equation: the skills needed to properly train and socialize a Cane Corso. This isn't a golden retriever that naturally wants to please and easily adapts to almost any situation. The Cane Corso was bred for centuries to be a guard and protection dog, which means it has deeply ingrained instincts to distrust strangers, protect its territory, and make independent decisions in situations of perceived threat. Without proper training and extensive socialization from puppyhood, you don't have a loyal companion, you have a 110-pound legal liability with jaws capable of exerting a bite force of over 700 psi, one of the strongest among all dog breeds. Socializing a Cane Corso isn't something you do casually on weekends. It requires daily, consistent and carefully controlled exposure to different people animals, environments, sounds, and situations from when the puppy is 8 weeks old until at least 2 years of age. We're talking about hours every day dedicated to introducing your dog to the world in a way that builds confidence without creating fear or aggression. Most people simply don't have the time, patience, or knowledge to do this correctly. And when socialization fails, you're left with a 110-pound dog that's afraid of or aggressive towards strangers, other dogs, children, or anything outside their immediate comfort zone. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's dangerous and potentially devastating financially and emotionally. Professional training isn't optional with Cane Corsos, it's absolutely essential. And we're not talking about a basic group obedience class at the local pet shop. You need an experienced trainer who understands guard and protection breeds, who can work with the dog's natural instincts while establishing reliable control and clear boundaries. This type of specialized training can easily cost between $1,000 and $4,000 or more, depending on the frequency of sessions and the program duration. Many responsible Cane Corso owners work with trainers continuously during the first 2 to 3 years of the dog's life, which means an ongoing and substantial investment. And here's something very few people consider until it's too late: exercise. A Cane Corso isn't a dog that's happy with a 20-minute walk around the block once a day. These are powerful athletes that were bred to work all day on Italian farms, hunting wild boar, protecting herds, and patrolling properties. An adult Cane Corso needs at least 2 hours of vigorous physical exercise every day, without exceptions. This means long runs, intense walks, high-energy playtime, obedience training that challenges them mentally and physically, and ideally, some kind of canine work or sport like tracking, protection work, or agility exercises. If you work full-time, have a family to care for and normal adult responsibilities, where exactly are those 2 daily hours going to come from? When a Cane Corso doesn't receive adequate exercise, behavioral problems are practically guaranteed. They become destructive, chewing furniture, doors, walls, anything within reach. They develop compulsive behaviors like obsessive licking, chasing shadows or light, spinning in circles. They become reactive and difficult to control on walks. They can develop aggression due to accumulated frustration and unspent energy. A behavioral veterinarian told me about a Cane Corso that caused over $15,000 in damage to its owner's home over a 6-month period simply because it wasn't receiving adequate exercise and was bored out of control. The family eventually had to surrender the dog to rescue because they could no longer handle the destruction and behavior. Now let's talk about something that shocks even more people: legal and insurance restrictions. In many US states, Canadian municipalities, and countries around the world, the Cane Corso is on restricted or banned breed lists. This means that in certain areas, you literally cannot legally own a Cane Corso, period. Laws vary widely, but some jurisdictions completely ban the breed, while others require special licenses, high-value liability insurance, specific containment requirements like minimum fence heights or mandatory muzzles in public. Before even considering getting a Cane Corso, you need to thoroughly check local laws, zoning regulations, and homeowners association rules in your area. But here's where it gets even more complicated: homeowners and liability insurance. Many insurance companies simply refuse coverage if you own a Cane Corso, grouping them with other breeds considered high risk, like pit bulls, Rottweilers, and Dobermans. Insurers that do offer coverage often charge significantly higher premiums, sometimes doubling or tripling your annual rate. And here's the crucial detail: if your Cane Corso bites someone, even if it's argued as legitimate defense or provocation, you can be personally liable for hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars in damages, medical expenses, lost wages, and emotional suffering. Without adequate liability insurance, a single incident can literally ruin your life financially. Talking with lawyers specializing in animal law, I discovered that cases involving bites from large and powerful breeds like Cane Corsos consistently result in much higher settlements and verdicts than cases involving smaller breeds, even when circumstances are similar. Public perception and jury prejudices play a huge role. When a 110-pound Cane Corso is involved, the potential damage is simply much greater, and courts recognize this. Several owners told me stories of neighbors who became visibly uncomfortable or even hostile when they discovered there was a Cane Corso living nearby. Some faced petitions from neighbors trying to force them to get rid of the dog or move. Get to this point and hit the like button on this video if you're starting to understand why 1.5 million people search about Cane Corso every month, but almost nobody actually buys one. We're not done unveiling all the layers of this mystery, and what comes next may be the most revealing part of all. Share this video with anyone you know who's considering getting a Cane Corso, because this information can literally change someone's life. Let's talk about the time commitment beyond exercise. Cane Corsos are incredibly people-oriented dogs that were bred to work closely with humans. They're not dogs you can leave alone in the backyard all day while you work. Separation anxiety is common in the breed, and when a Cane Corso develops severe separation anxiety, the results can be catastrophic. We're talking about dogs that literally destroy homes trying to escape, that hurt themselves in panic, that bark and howl for hours, disturbing entire neighborhoods. Treatment of severe separation anxiety requires intensive behavioral modification, possible medication, and sometimes doggy daycares or dog walkers multiple times a day, all adding more thousands of dollars in annual expenses. Physical grooming of the dog is also more involved than many people anticipate. Although the Cane Corso has short fur, they shed moderately to heavily, especially during seasonal changes. Regular brushing is necessary not just to control loose fur, but also to check for skin problems that can develop under that dense coat. Nails need to be trimmed regularly, and with a 110-pound dog, this isn't a trivial task if the dog hasn't been properly conditioned to accept paw handling. Regular dental cleaning is essential because dental problems can lead to serious systemic infections affecting the heart and other organs. Many owners need professional grooming services regularly, adding more hundreds of dollars monthly to ongoing expenses. Here's another factor few people consider: the relatively short life expectancy. While small breeds often live 15 years or more, Cane Corsos typically live only 10 to 12 years, with many not reaching 10 years due to the various health conditions that afflict the breed. This means that after investing hundreds of thousands of dollars, countless hours of training and socialization, and years of your life dedicated to this dog, you'll probably only have a decade with them. For many people, the prospect of going through that devastating loss after a relatively short period is emotionally daunting. And then there's the travel question. What do you do with a 110-pound Cane Corso when you need to travel? You can't simply put them in a carrier and take them on a commercial flight like you would with a small dog. Traveling by car with a Cane Corso requires careful planning, frequent stops, and finding accommodations that accept large dogs, which immediately eliminates many hotel and rental options. Leaving them behind. Kennels that are willing and equipped to handle powerful guard breeds charge premium rates, often $50 to $100 per day or more. A week of vacation can easily cost more in dog boarding than your own trip. Hiring a sitter or house caregiver who's experienced and comfortable with Cane Corsos also isn't cheap and not always available. Talking with Cane Corso breed-specific rescues, I heard heartbreaking stories repeatedly. They told me that most Cane Corsos that come into rescue are between 1 and 3 years old, the exact phase when dogs are leaving puppy cuteness and entering their full adult strength and personality. The reasons for surrender are frighteningly consistent. Owners completely underestimated the financial commitment, didn't have time or knowledge for proper training, couldn't handle the dog's size and strength, faced insurance problems or housing restrictions, or had a scary incident that made them realize they were completely unprepared. One rescue coordinator told me something that perfectly sums up this problem. People fall in love with the idea of a Cane Corso, with the image, the status, the power. But they don't fall in love with the reality of daily work, constant cost, The immense responsibility of owning a dog that can cause significant damage if something goes wrong. There are also living space considerations that are critical. A Cane Corso can technically survive in an apartment, but is it really fair to the dog or practical for you? These are large and powerful dogs that need space to move comfortably. Going up and down stairs multiple times a day is hard on their joints and can accelerate hip and elbow problems. The noise of a Cane Corso moving in an apartment, especially above other tenants, can lead to complaints. And if you live in a rental property, many landlords have explicit breed restrictions that include Cane Corsos, severely limiting your housing options. Buying a house solves that problem, but adds another layer of substantial financial commitment to the already expensive equation of owning this breed. Family dynamics are another crucial consideration that's often underestimated. Cane Corsos can be wonderful with children in their own families when properly socialized and supervised, but they're large and powerful dogs that can accidentally knock over or hurt small children during play. More worryingly, the Cane Corso's protective instincts can lead them to misinterpret normal noisy play among children as aggression, potentially leading to dangerous interventions. Every adult in the house needs to be able to physically and verbally control the dog in all situations, which may be impossible for smaller spouses, teenagers, or elderly family members. If anyone in your home is afraid of dogs or not fully committed to ownership, it creates an unsustainable situation. Here's something I discovered that's absolutely crucial. Temperament and breeding quality vary tremendously among different Cane Corso lines. Ethical and responsible breeders carefully select for stable temperament, test health extensively, and only breed dogs that meet high physical and mental standards. They cost more, but there's a reason. Bad breeders or puppy mills produce Cane Corsos with unpredictable or unstable temperaments, guaranteed health problems, and no after-sale support. Buying from a bad source to save a few $1,000s initially will almost certainly result in tens of thousands in extra veterinary and behavioral expenses later, not to mention the risk of ending up with a dog that's fundamentally unsafe to have around people or other animals. The problem is that many of the people searching for Cane Corso online don't know how to identify an ethical breeder versus a bad one, and unscrupulous scammers mercilessly exploit this knowledge gap. There's also the status factor we can't ignore. Part of the reason the Cane Corso is so searched is because it's become a status symbol in certain cultures and communities. You see celebrities, athletes, and influencers posting photos with their impressive Cane Corsos, and it fuels desire. But here's the truth. These individuals usually have unlimited resources for full-time professional trainers, extensive facilities, dedicated caretakers, and premium veterinary care. They're not dealing with the realities that an average person faces. Getting a Cane Corso because it looks cool or impressive is possibly the worst reason to choose this breed, but I suspect it's a significant motivating factor for many of those 1.5 million monthly searches. So after all this, who should actually consider getting a Cane Corso? The answer is very few people. You need to be someone with previous experience in large, powerful, or guard breeds. You need to have substantial financial resources, not just for the initial cost, but for ongoing care and emergencies. You need to have significant time every day for exercise, training, and companionship. You need to have a stable living situation with adequate space and no breed restrictions. You need to be willing to work with professional trainers and extensively educate yourself about canine behavior and breed-specific training methods. You need to have a family or domestic situation where everyone is on board and capable of safely handling the dog. You need to be prepared for the legal and social responsibility of owning a breed that many people view as potentially dangerous. And perhaps most importantly, you need to genuinely want a Cane Corso for the right reasons. For the working partnership, for the loyal companionship, for the challenge of training and living with an intelligent and powerful dog, not just for looks or status. If you don't check all these boxes, and let's be honest, the vast majority of people don't, then you shouldn't get a Cane Corso, no matter how attractive the breed may seem online. Fortunately, there are many other breeds that offer similar qualities: protection, loyalty, intelligence, without all the extreme complications. German Shepherd, Boxer, Doberman, even Rottweilers are generally more manageable for the average person, while still offering many of the qualities people seek. Or consider rescuing a mixed-breed dog that has some Cane Corso characteristics, but without the full purebred challenges. Here's the final truth that sums up this whole mystery of one. 5 million searches, but almost no actual purchases. The internet has created a fantasy about the Cane Corso that doesn't match ownership reality. People see the highlights, the perfectly curated moments, the exceptionally well-trained dogs in ideal circumstances. They don't see the 4 a.m. runs to the emergency vet. They don't see the frustrating training sessions. They don't see bank accounts being drained. They don't see sleepless nights worrying about behavior or health. They don't see neighbor and stranger judgments. They don't see complicated travel arrangements. They don't see the daily reality of living with a dog that requires more time, money, knowledge, and commitment than almost any other breed. So these people search, become fascinated, maybe even contact a few breeders, and then reality starts to seep in. They hear the prices, they learn about the requirements, they talk to their insurance, they calculate the costs. They honestly assess their lives, their schedules, their capabilities, and the vast majority realize that as much as they love the idea of a Cane Corso, the reality simply doesn't fit their lives. They don't buy the dog, but the fascination remains. So they keep searching, keep looking at photos, keep dreaming, keeping alive the phenomenon of being the most searched breed that almost nobody actually owns. Before we finish, I want you to do something important. If this video opened your eyes to realities about Cane Corsos or dog ownership in general that you didn't know, leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. Were you considering a Cane Corso? Did this video change your perspective? Do you own a Cane Corso and want to share your experience? The comment section is where we can have real and honest conversations that help other people make informed decisions. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm bringing more content like this that dives deep into the truths about popular dog breeds, revealing what the industry doesn't always want you to know. The lesson here goes beyond just Cane Corsos. It applies to any important life decision. Just because something looks incredible online, just because everyone's searching or talking about it, doesn't mean it's right for you. The gap between desire and reality can be enormous, and when we're talking about a decade-long commitment to a living being that depends completely on you, bridging that gap with honest information and brutal self-assessment isn't just important, it's essential. The Cane Corso isn't a bad dog, not at all. In the right hands, with the right circumstances, they're magnificent companions. But those right hands and right circumstances are much rarer than those won. 5 million monthly searches would suggest. Now you know the truth behind the internet's biggest canine mystery.